Good afternoon, friends and neighbors. This is your good buddy Bulldawg coming at you live, raw, and uncut here from the shop in the wilds of upstate New York. I promise it's not going to keep looking like this. This will be a studio. Don't you worry. We'll be at the Burn Studios in no time flat. I promise you. Anyway, I am very excited to talk to you and tell you all about my new channel called The Burn. It's all about pipes, pipe smoking, different blends, blend reviews, hoping to have some special guests. We'll talk about how to smoke a pipe and, more importantly, how not to smoke a pipe. More on that in a little bit. So anyway, who is this channel for? This channel is going to be for everybody. And by that, I mean, it's going to be very informative. I'm going to talk a lot about things and help you out with questions that you might have. I am hoping also that there are going to be other folks who come in with a lot more experience than I have. Hopefully, they'll join in the comments. My whole idea is to get a community going here where everybody helps everybody. We can all learn best by helping each other. So anyway, yeah, I'd like to get this ball rolling, and I'd like to start with subject matter and just really have people get involved in the comments with questions and answers too. And if I say something that you know is wrong, come at me, man. Let me know. Tell me all about it. I'm human. I make mistakes too. So that's just the way it's going to be. I'm going to do my very best though. I will never, ever, ever pretend to be a guru of any sort. I'm just some damn fool from upstate New York who made a lot of mistakes, and I learned from them. That's the best way to learn sometimes, is just jump on in and make mistakes. Boy, I'll tell you what. Let's see. I'll give you some background on who I am and how I came into this. I'm like a lot of other people who saw some people that I looked up to smoking a pipe, and I thought very highly of them, and because they smoked a pipe, I figured, why not? So anyway, what I started with was with my dear old Grampy, who was smoking this very pipe. Yeah, it's old and nasty and disgusting because he was a woodworker, and after he passed, I found this on a table in his shop. Just to give you some idea of his different perspective on pipes, they were really just utilitarian tools that helped get a job done. I found that one, like I said, on a workbench, and I found others of his up on a pegboard hanging on hooks, you know, just to grab and go for it. I don't think he ever even reamed the things, but I'll tell you what, man, it was really nice to find those because I cleaned a couple of them up. The cobs aren't really worth it, so I'm just kind of holding on to it for old time's sake. But I remember him sitting in the living room, and he'd have that newspaper, and he'd just be sitting there reading his newspaper, puffing away on a, bowl of half and half, and I just love the smell of it. And he seemed so relaxed and content doing it, And then growing up, I remember walking around the neighborhood, and there was one of our neighbors who used to walk his dog, and he'd just be puffing away on his pipe too. And he's not necessarily anybody that I looked up to or looked down upon either. I didn't, he was really just kind of not an influence on me in any which way, but he did influence me in the way that I loved the way that pipe smelled every time he walked by. Man, it just smelled so good. I'm sure it was probably Captain Black or something like that was easily gotten and just had that nice, full vanilla smell to it. And man, that's what I wanted to do. So what happened? Well, time went on, and I grew up in the 80s, and all my friends around me were getting into smoking cigarettes. If you were cool, you smoked cigarettes. They weren't for me, though, because both of my parents were heavy smokers at the time. And it just, I couldn't stand it, seeing the butts in the ashtrays and just smelling the smoke in the air. And then I'd leave the house and I'd smell like the smoke that was there. I mean, even if it was just brand new clean laundry, I'd still be smelling like smoke. And man, it was just a turnoff for me. So I never really got into the whole cigarette thing. And then later on, though, I was watching the movies in the 80s, as was very popular and is now, I'm sure. But there were a lot of big name stars. One of them was named Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was an absolute badass. And I remember him puffing away on a big old cigar. And I thought, yeah, that's for me. That's for me. So what did I do? Went to the gas station and I got a box of Tijuana Small, cherry flavored. And man, I'll tell you what, I wish I could get my hands back on some of those. They've been long since discontinued. But that cherry flavor, man, that was sweet and good stuff. So I started getting into the cheap old gas station cigars and tried a couple different kinds and everything. And then, let's see, I guess when I was about 19, a buddy of mine said, hey, you want to head on down to Florida? I got a place for us to stay, and, you know, it won't cost much other than gas and food. I was like, yeah, I'm in. I said, I'll tell you what, why don't we just get us a couple of pipes and some tobacco, and we'll go out on the beach there and hang out with them. I don't know why. It was really kind of a random thought. But I went to CVS and I got me an old Dr. Graybo. Well, it was a brand new one at the time. It's really old now. I still have it. Dr. Graybo Lark. It's a little one. I use it for a taster pipe now. But I got that, and I got one of them big old 5-pound sacks of El Crapo, brand tobacco. And it was just some vanilla Cavendish, no-name crap. I don't know why I bought so much for a trip. I didn't know if I, was really thinking I was going to go through it or what. But yeah, we got down there and we were smoking our pipes as best we could and getting tongue bite. And it was what it was. And well, surprisingly, I kind of stuck with it. I'm not so sure my friend did, but I stuck with it. I got a couple more pipes. I got a couple cobs, and I got a briar that was from my brother as well and his wife. And I started gravitating towards good tobacco. As a matter of fact, McClelland was my brand back in the day. And oh man, their aromatics. They had some fantastic aromatics. I know everybody talks about their Virginias. I didn't have the pleasure of doing that. I was steering clear of natural flavored tobacco because of that whole cigarette history that I had. And I wanted something that smelled like Mr. Goldberg's up the street, when he was walking his dog. But so anyway, they had some really good ones. There was one called Town Topic, and that was their maple one. And I think that was my all-time favorite from them. Nothing like I could ever find again since they've gotten discontinued. But, everybody says, oh, Autumn Evening. Yeah, Autumn Evening is good. But, man, when I smoke Autumn Evening, I think breakfast. I don't think of like the fall and just, I don't know, just something different about that smooth, creamy maple that was there. And like I said, I haven't been able to find another like it. So I'm still on the hunt for that. If you have any good ones for me, let me know. But anyway, I did a couple of those. There was a chocolate flavored one. I think it was called Best in Show. There was a nougat flavored one. That wasn't too bad either. And then I tried this other one that really broke free from the normal aromatic that I was used to. And it was this one you might have heard of. It was called Frogmorton's Cellar. My very first English. And or English crossover, is whichever way you may look at it. But anyway, I had those, and well, I started getting a little frustrated because I just couldn't get the damn thing to stay lit. Well, not having a mentor in pipe smoking, I guess I could have asked my grandfather at the time. He was still around, but I thought it was just something, that it was just the way that pipe smoking was, a genuine pain in the rear end. Not knowing that this is the key to a good smoke in a pipe. Now, I know a lot of you will say, oh, you don't need a tamper. You could use your finger. You can use a stick. You can do whatever. I get it. I'm talking about going through the motion of tamping a pipe to keep it lit. I didn't realize. And so I was constantly relighting. It became more of a chore than anything else. And I decided to go back to cigars. So I did that for many, many years. I got into cigars and tried all sorts of really good ones, tried all sorts of really bad ones too, but I really learned a whole lot. And I think that's what really had me gravitate towards the cigars at that point was I wanted to learn more. I really wanted to learn more. And again, I didn't really have anybody to mentor me, but you know what? I was able to keep it lit and I was able to try things out and it was a little bit more encouraging. I can study the different catalogs coming in from different online stores and learn about, the different wrappers and binders and fillers and everything about them. I love learning about stuff like that. But anyway, moving up probably another 20 something years. And my daughter, then a young adult, came up to me and said, "Hey, Dad, can you please teach me how to smoke a pipe?" Hell yes, I can teach you how to smoke a pipe. I was excited. That was great. My little buddy wanted to do that with me. She's been my fishing partner, my hunting partner, and she wanted to learn how to smoke a pipe. God bless her. So I was like, yeah, I'll help you out. And then I realized I was never really good at it myself. So I started turning to some people online. Some were better than others. I don't really want to get into detail, but there was one who was really very helpful with pointing me in the right direction of trying different blends and getting familiar with them. Turns out he was more of an egotistical jackass who looked down his nose at a lot of other people, and I didn't enjoy that anymore. Thankfully, I don't think he's doing the pipe thing anymore. He was saying something that really got me was any man who has an earring is not a man. Oh, all right, I get it. All right, I don't give a crap. Okay, it doesn't really faze me, but. I'm just saying, he just really started looking down his nose. But I'm not going to talk about him anymore. We talk about the positives. There are a lot of positives out there. If you're just learning to smoke a pipe, I highly recommend you look into Beans 316. Fantastic gentleman. Fantastic gentleman. As a matter of fact, he makes a hell of a pipe too, if you're interested, and sells them on eBay. Really nice product. And I've talked to him several times. He gave me a lot of pointers, how to start out here and everything. And that's the cool thing about this whole pipe community. Everybody is just really so supportive and helpful. And, with that one exception. But other than that, everybody has been great. A couple other people that I've talked to. Sonny the Piper. He was another one. I bumped into him at the Ohio Pipe Show this past year. Great guy, really nice guy. I've talked to him and he gave me some pointers for starting out with YouTube as well. I highly recommend you check him out if you haven't. Oh, by the way, I put links down there if you want to check them out for Beans 316 and for Sonny the Piper. I also included one for JC Pipes and Knives. JC is one of those guys who tells you like it is. He's a lot like Beans 316. Beans doesn't sugarcoat a damn thing. If he doesn't like what he's smoking, you're going to know it. If he likes it, you're going to know it. He's got a really cool rating scale too. So yeah, definitely check him out if you want to, look into some blends. But back to JC Pipes and Knives. I haven't met JC yet, but I'd like to. He's got a good head on his shoulders too and tries different things. And again, he's the same way. If he doesn't like something, he's just, he'll let you know if it's worth buying or if it's not worth buying. Another one, Mutton Chop Piper. I also included a link for him. Met him at the Ohio Pipe Show as well, and he was just a really, really nice guy. And yeah, he's just like having an uncle around, he's just that approachable, And anyway, if you want to learn a lot about like the process of smoking a pipe and different techniques and things, I've heard something about him that I thought was so cool. Someone said that, how did they word it? They said that man probably has forgotten more about pipes than anybody else would ever know. I thought that was pretty cool. The guy's been around a long time. So definitely look into Mutton Chop Piper. Other people that I've met in the community, not people who post on YouTube, but let's see, J.M. Boswell is another one. Fantastic guy. You never know the guy was world famous for making gorgeous, gorgeous pipes. You talk to him, and you go to his shop, and the man brews you a pot of coffee and serves you coffee. He's just really down-to-earth guy. Also, Tim West, another one, makes a beautiful pipe. And man, if you didn't know that he was just someone that everybody knows, like a real legend in the pipe community, and you just met the guy, you'd never know it. Just very nice as can be. Larry Blackett of Larry Blackett Tampers. I highly recommend you look into his tampers if you want to start collecting some beauties. But everybody's just been great. There was another one that was on here, actually several who have been on YouTube who have been fantastic. And the unfortunate part was they were losing monetization. And they were putting in a lot of effort for what they were doing. And they wanted to make a little bit of money to help, keep the project going. I understand that. But because their monetization was pulled because of the subject matter and just being, all sorts of headaches going on, they decided to pull out. I'll tell you, Bradley from Stuffin' Things, that boy had the perfect formula for a YouTube channel on Stuffin' Things when he was talking about reviews and pipes and things like that. He does a whole lot of other things too. He talks about books and video games and skateboards and guitars and gerbils and his job. And he's a really interesting guy, and his presentation's fantastic. But yeah, he's no longer on with pipe content, and that's a real shame. We lost him. So anyway, that's where I come in. Here comes the Bulldawg right at you. And I'm going to try to pick up where he and others have left off. And I couldn't care less about monetization. I'm in it because I love pipes. I love pipe blends. I love talking about pipes. Man, I could go on and on, but I'm not going to. That's another thing. I'm trying to narrow this down, so each video is going to be roughly 20 minutes because I don't want to bore the snot out of you. So let's see. Pardon me, I'm looking at my notes here too, just making sure that I don't forget anything. Nah, I think that's it. But hey, this has been the very first of The Burn, and I thank you for being here with me. Again, I'm your good buddy Bulldawg, and I'll see you next time.